It's showtime, everybody. I'm Rob Wu, and this is Pancrase, Legends of Mixed Martial Arts. And sitting alongside me, as always, our fight insider, expert analyst, Josh Barnett.
Good to be here again, Rob, as always. Today, actually, will mark the debut to our American fans here watching this Pancrase show of one of my rivals, the gigantic Semi Schilt.
But before we get to that, I have a question for you, Josh, that fight fans are dying to know. Are you going to fight Fedor or what?
I'll fight him, but really what it comes down to is finding the right opportunity and the right place to make a match of that caliber happen. And friends or not, we're both top professional athletes, and Fedor and myself have already agreed that we would make the match if the conditions were right. And honestly, a Pancrase would be a very great place to hold a match of that caliber, I believe.
And I hope someone in Japan is taking notes. But let's get to our first fight. It's Yuki Kondo against Kyuma Kunioku.
Yuki Kondo versus Kyuma Kunioku.
And Yuki Kondo is in the blue. Kunioku decided to go back with the hot pink. I guess it worked last time. Maybe it'll work again.
It is the early 90s.
I'm not sure if that was ever popular in America, but Kunioku, hey, whatever works for him. And both fighters very young. Kondo just 20 years of age. Kunioku just 19. So the best years are ahead of both these fighters.
Both fighters seem to be patiently checking each other out. A couple of nice palm strikes by Kondo sends Kunioku back. High kick, more palm strikes. Kondo being the aggressor.
Very aggressive. Kondo is known as a striker, but Josh, Kondo is not a big fan of lifting weights. Should there be a power concern if he doesn't do that? Can he get TKO power without lifting weights?
Well, Kondo, regardless of lifting weights or not, as he defends a single leg from Kunioku, is just born with the ability to knock people out, and that's something that you can't really develop by lifting weights.
And Kondo very active at the start, putting Kunioku in a corner and throwing blows, but Kunioku managed to get out as we move on in the fight.
Kunioku with a little front check kick, body strike, and Kondo returning in kind with more strikes and a kick, which Kunioku grabs a single leg and drops into an attempted leg lock. But Kondo, sensing it, lands in the half guard, blocks the attempt, and is working from the top now.
Kondo actually has the nickname Bluto from Pai Pai. As you see, he is still both fighters in a clinch on the ground. And how is Kondo's ground game at this point in his career, Josh?
Kondo's very savvy on the ground, and as he's defending the leg lock attempt by Kunioku here. Kunioku going for that toe hold, but Kondo is well versed in the ground, and he's spending a lot of time in the Pancrase dojo really refining his skills.
Kunioku working on that leg of Kondo. What does Kondo have to do to avoid this position?
Kondo really needs to, one, going after a nice toe hold like that in return is a good way to take advantage of that situation, but as they're restarted, as they were too close to the ropes. But Kondo really would need to separate Kunioku's legs from around his leg and come up in between to escape that leg position and free his leg up.
Both fighters exchanging a couple knees.
Kondo, the southpaw, also known for his devastating jumping high knee attack. Nice rolling knee bar entry by Kunioku, but definitely blocked by Kondo, as Kondo now works from Kunioku's guard as Kunioku looks to try and secure an arm here. Double wrist lock by Kunioku. Kondo spins around the head, reverses, and looks for his own double wrist lock, perhaps an armbar.
Both fighters nearing the ropes a little bit. One of these guys might want to try to take this fight to the center before the ref decides to break them up, and it looks like Kondo is doing exactly that right now.
Yeah, they seem to be a little paying some disregard to the fact of where they end up and just really coming after each other. Big.
And a nice strike, and Kunioku stumbles, falls. Luckily, the rope caught him. If he was unlucky in the bad position, he might have fallen out of the ring.
That is the time limit for this match.
And now, Josh, we're going to see the debut of Semi Schilt. Now, he's almost 7 feet tall. I think he should be playing some basketball.
Well, I don't know why his decision was to go into karate instead of basketball, but I know he's found a lot of success as he is a Daido Juko champion, as well as other championships earned in karate, and as of recent is a two-time K1 Grand Prix champion, which is like being the pinnacle of all kickboxing.
And speaking of Schilt's success, you personally have had success versus Schilt.
Yeah, me and Schilt have had a number of matches against each other, both being very difficult to finish off a guy like that. But they say he's almost 6 foot, almost 7 foot, but I watched him against a guy 6'9" stare at the top of that guy's head. I swear, if he's 6'11", it's because he's slumping.
And he's going to be fighting Manabu Yamada, who is 5'9", a huge size disadvantage.
Yeah, and when I fought him, I'm 6'3", and in the pictures it looks like some dad with his little kid in the ring. You know what I mean? So Yamada at 5'9", it's going to look absurd almost.
And let's just see how absurd it does look.
Semi Schilt versus Manabu Yamada.
Not as short in stature as he is, but he has been successful to this point, being a runner-up in that first King of Pancrase tournament. And however, fighting against somebody like Semi Schilt has to be intimidating.
And as Yamada tries to take down a Schilt, I think the Schilt's leg is almost as tall as Yamada.
Yeah, his hip almost comes up to Yamada's chin, which means when he throws knees, he doesn't have to pick it up very far to connect to the face, and this would become a very dangerous and successful technique for Semi Schilt later on in his career.
And as we see Yamada trying to take Schilt down, but unsuccessful. But Josh, Semi Schilt, he also has submission skills as well.
Yeah, he does, and at the end of his career, in Pancrase even, he was nice knees from Schilt, big low kick, as Schilt continuing to control the action.
And Yamada just trying to hang on, and now he has a hold of Schilt's leg. Let's see if he can do anything with this, but Schilt slapping him in the face.
Yeah, pounding down with those palm strikes as Yamada is working for that leg lock, but Schilt defending and using his size to great advantage.
And a big body shot by Schilt there, Josh. Those will take its toll on Yamada over the course of this entire fight.
Yeah, I agree, Rob. Schilt eventually would go on to become a certified Pancrase hybrid wrestling instructor, so that should show you his dedication and level of training that he put in Pancrase. And as Yamada working the Achilles lock to little success there.
And Schilt showing he's not just a striker, very impressive work on the ground as we move ahead in this fight.
Schilt with a forearm choke from the mount, trying to apply pressure against Yamada, catching the head.
And I think he might have Yamada in a chokehold right now.
Well, either way, this is uncomfortable, and this is not good for Yamada to be in. Wow, cranking that forearm across the neck.
Reaching for the rope, does get it. He'll be deducted 1 point. He has 2 more points remaining, and Yamada's breathing hard. Seems like he might be bleeding from the mouth. I think they're going to get the doctors to take a quick look at him.
And the thing about Semi is that wasn't really the perfect position to apply such a choke, but because he is so tall and so long, his limbs are so long, he was able to wrap that arm around his head in such a way and make it effective because of his size, and that's something that you can't really train against.
And Yamada is okay, and as we saw with his match against Maurice Smith, Yamada, he's one tough cookie.
Yes, he is. He's certainly not going to back down, but he's having quite the difficult endeavor as he eats that knee.
What a knee by Schilt, and Schilt letting knees of fury, just pushing Yamada all over the ring.
Cutting him down with low kicks, following it up with knees, sucking up that front choke right there. Yamada got to be in danger.
And the fighter's near the ropes. Yamada in a chokehold. He might want to grab the ropes, or maybe he can wait and the ref will break it, as you see Schilt let go of the choke.
Switching to the forearm choke from mount is Schilt.
It looks like he's just holding on to Schilt's leg for dear life.
And Schilt very mobile for a big man as he lands a low kick followed up with a left knee.
And right there, Yamada grabbing the leg, but Schilt before doing a great job using those legs to keep Yamada back.
Yamada with a single leg and an inside trip manages to get Schilt on his back, looking to go to a leg lock, it seems here, as Yamada, as Schilt wraps him up with those long arms.
I kind of feel like I'm watching a snake wrap its body around a rat here, Josh.
Well, it does appear that way somewhat, Rob. And here Yamada finding some success, getting underneath Schilt, getting to that leg. Schilt in danger of getting knee barred.
And Schilt, he might have to grab the ropes, and he does, and their size pays off, Josh. If
Yes,
Schilt is
does.
any shorter, he may not be able to reach the ropes.
I don't think there's anywhere in the ring where Schilt couldn't reach across and grab the rope. I described it once to somebody. When you're fighting Semi Schilt, it's like he could punch you from from one corner to the next.
And Schilt, he's got Yamada's blood over his arm, and he's looking to draw more blood. Knees to the face, takes Yamada down. We'll see if Yamada can get up from this one, but Schilt, devastating damage to the mouth of Yamada, and Yamada does want to continue, but he gets deducted 1 point, and he only has 1 left.
Yamada fired up, giving a great a great inspiration to get right back in the fight, but as you can see, he was damaged heavily by those knees as Schilt is using that forearm choke on him and relinquishing his hold to get back to the feet. Yamada rolling up into that leg there.
And Yamato definitely wants this fight on the ground, but so far, Semi Schilt proving to be a very tough guy to take down.
Yeah, his physicality and his size and strength is really causing a lot of difficulties for Yamada.
As the ref breaks, Yamada breathing very hard. He's probably going to try to catch his breath during this break, and as you see, the blood of Yamada on Schilt's left arm.
Got to wonder if Yamada recovered from those knee strikes.
And this is not a good position to be in, but Yamada wisely goes down, brings Schilt down, and now trying to work on the legs of Schilt.
Working for a toe hold, Yamada there, putting that knee on Schilt's ankle and pulling up on that toe, but Schilt reversing, getting to his back and working for the choke.
And Schilt trying to get that rear naked choke on Yamada. He does have a choke on, and Yamada taps out. This fight is over. Semi Schilt is your winner in his Pancrase debut, 5:44 in the first round. And Yamada, this guy has a lot of fun.
He does. And again, that long, that really gigantic person like Semi Schilt is able to slip his arms around Yamada's neck in ways that Yamada, where he doesn't have to be in such perfect position to finish a choke, but yet he's able to make it effective.
And we've mentioned this many times, the sportsmanship in Pancrase unmatched as we take a look at Yamada in the post-fight. A doctor will probably look at him to make sure he's okay, and he's in a lot of pain. Josh, he can't even walk. He's crawling on the floor.
Yeah, his ribs, his leg, his face. I mean, it's like he's been through a meat grinder.
This is kind of like the Maurice Smith fight all over again for him.
Well, no one's ever going to question Yamada's toughness, as it seems as though he's got some real damage to his rib there, probably endured by one of Semi Schilt's vicious knees.
And as Semi Schilt proving to be a very tough competitor. And Josh, Semi Schilt, we thought he might win by knockout. He did knock Yamada down, but he won via submission hold. He's a very good all-around fighter.
Yeah, it's going to have to open people's eyes to think, hey, here's another Dutch striker, and karateka, but no, Semi has a varied group of tools to choose from, and he can also submit you.
And our next fight, we're going to see Vernon Tiger White against Takaku Fuke. Now, Vernon fought him in his debut fight, but now he's improved by leaps and bounds. I expect this fight to be totally different.
Yeah, me too as well. And with all the time Vernon is spending with the Lions Den and training at the Pancrase Dojo and maturing as a fighter, he's only going to continue to improve as we see him here in Pancrase.
And let's just see how well Vernon White improved.
Takaku Fuke versus Vernon Tiger White.
And as you take a look at Vernon Tiger White, Josh, you can just tell how much he's changed physically. He's so much bigger.
Yeah, it certainly seems that Vernon's been putting the time in the weight room and conditioning his body to get stronger and more physical as he goes in on that double leg takedown and is successful against Fuke.
And White now in the full guard. His record is just 6-15, but maybe a little misleading because he has grown so much as a fighter as we move ahead in the fight. And Josh, Takaku Fuke also goes by the name Yusuke Fuke. Why is that?
Well, a lot of times the fighters or wrestlers over there will choose a ring name or a pseudonym sometimes. Also, there could be another Fuke, so they might go by a different name that way as well.
And both fighters on the ground. Fuke trying to work on the neck of White, but lets that go, and now going for the leg.
Yeah, Fuke there playing defense as Vernon is working for the knee bar or toe hold there. They are dangerously close to the ropes, so they may get restarted.
Now, White did lose to Fuke in his debut bout, but since then White has had 20 more matches under his belt, so a totally different fighter.
Right, and by looking at the submission attacks that Vernon is initiating and the grappling that he's involved in at this point, you can see that this Vernon White is not the same guy that we saw, the scrawny little kid in the beginning of Pancrase.
White in the half guard and the fighters near the rope, so the referee will break them up. They'll restart. Fuke comes to this fight 11-12, so he'll be looking to get back to the 500. And what is Fuke's stance, Josh? He looks like he's sleepwalking out there with that stance.
Well, I will say it's completely unique to Fuke.
As this fight goes back on the mat, Vernon White on top in the full guard.
Applying pressure against Fuke's windpipe with the ridge hand there is Vernon White. Interesting application. So he hooks up the neck on Fuke inside the guard.
And Vernon White displaying a lot of moves that we previously have not seen from him. I don't know who he's training with, probably Ken Shamrock, Frank Shamrock, but they've taught him well.
Yeah, certainly. Remember in the beginning, Vernon was really more like a fish out of water on land, just flopping around, really looking out of place on the ground. But this is a completely different fighter, and you can really see the difference, regardless of his record as being 6-15. A lot of those were incurred when he was first starting out, and this guy, from this point on, would make a lot of strides in his career.
Now, this fight ended up in a draw. And Josh, as a fighter, how tough is it to accept a draw, knowing that you trained for this fight, you gave it your all, but you didn't win?
Depending on the circumstance, but in this case, I think for Vernon, what it shows him is it gives him the feedback of that he is improving, he is getting better, and a guy that took him out in like 2 minutes when he first got there is now can't. Not only is he not beating him, but it's a draw. It's a competitive fight between the two of them. So that's got to actually help Vernon, I think, in the long run.
All right, and on the other side of this break, we're going to show you the fighter that people call the Russian Bear. Welcome back, and now we're going to watch Oleg Taktorov, the Russian Bear, versus Ryushi Nagasawa. Now, Josh, the Russian Bear, it might be his Pancrase debut, but he was the UFC 6 champ. He has a pretty impressive resume.
Yeah, he showed a lot of heart and determination in his fights in the UFC. He fought greats like Tank Abbott and Dan Severn, the ultimate champion. No slouch here is Taktorov. And in the UFC, he's also shown a real propensity towards the submissions and the leg game in particular, which is very popular within Pancrase.
And let's see how his game transitions into Pancrase.
Oleg Taktorov versus Ryushi Nagasawa.
Now, the Russian Bear, Taktorov, has also trained with the Shamrocks like Vernon White.
Yeah. Oleg, coming from a Sambo background, actually later on would spend a lot of time in a pro boxing gym and thought about starting a career as a pro boxer, but at this point, you can pretty much call him a straight grappler.
Oleg going for the takedown, unsuccessful, and now Nagasawa throwing the kicks, and it looks like Oleg, his body's almost out of the ring.
Eating shotes and high kicks is Taktorov from Nagasawa. Nice single leg takedown by Oleg, getting this match to the mat where hopefully he can display some of those Sambo skills that have given him his success in the UFC.
And I think he just tried to choke Nagasawa there. Not legal. The referee's probably going to give him a card for that.
Yeah, it's not allowed to use your thumbs to choke like, I don't know, the serial killer choke, whatever you'd like to refer to it.
And he's been deducted 1 point. As you see, there's a cut open on Oleg's head. As we move along the fight, this fight back on the ground.
Nagasawa getting attacked on his leg by Taktorov here, but they are very close to the ropes. Taktorov might not have the sense to bring them closer into the ring as they are restarted on their feet.
And Taktorov has to be frustrated with that restart. He had Nagasawa's ankle right there. And this actually, no, is not a restart. It's because the match is over. The 15-minute time limit is up, and the winner is Ryushi Nagasawa via points. And Josh, it looks like that choke move that Oleg did cost him big time.
You really can't say, hey, I was unfamiliar. When you step into this environment, when you step into the ring, you always got to be aware of the rules. And really, that's just a stupid mistake to make on the part of someone like Oleg Taktorov, who is such an accomplished veteran. But I, for one, would like to have seen how that match would have turned out without that sort of a mistake.
And now Oleg has also gone Hollywood. You might have seen him on Alias and Bad Boys 2. Now, Josh, if someone with the nickname the Russian Bear can make it in Hollywood, then someone with the nickname the Babyface Assassin should have no trouble doing the same.
Or, perhaps even the Wooinator.
I will do a couple skits and we'll send our tapes out.
Why not?
All right, our next fight pits Jason Delucia versus Osama Shibuya.
Jason Delucia versus Osama Shibuya.
Ranked number 5 at the time is Delucia, and Shibuya hoping to just knock on the door of the top 10 ranking.
And Shibuya is 3-7-1, not a very impressive record. Lost his last fight versus Frank Shamrock as we move ahead in this bout. Both fighters on the ground, Shibuya on top.
Shibuya working a bit of a choke there and getting caught in a side choke off of his, while Delucia is on his back was Shibuya. I don't think you really ever saw that coming.
And Shibuya has to grab the rope, gets deducted a point as we move ahead in the fight. Shibuya is still on top.
Delucia there working the choke again. A very basic choke, wrapping around the neck and then feeding the other arm inside and jamming the knuckles into the throat.
And that forces Shibuya to grab the rope again. He's been deducted 2 points. Then Jason Delucia so far dominating this fight.
Finding success with that choke is Delucia. Let's see if he can continue to find success with it as he takes Shibuya's back off of a failed takedown attempt.
Very good defense by Delucia as Shibuya came in. And now he is in a very favorable position. What does Shibuya have to do to get out of this, Josh?
Well, he's got to get that arm from around his face, period, because as Delucia starts locking down for that sleeper choke, he's got to control that hand. He's got to keep the chin down. And once he can establish hand control, then he's going to get one of those hooks out from inside his thigh and then try to roll inside Delucia's legs and landing on top in the guard, or maybe even dive roll through and catch an ankle for a total.
And it looks like Delucia had that chokehold, and Shibuya is deducted another point. That's 3. He only has 2 left. He has to step his game up, Josh.
Bit of a marathon for Delucia as he's getting lost point after lost point against Shibuya.
And this fight is over. It goes to the limit. Shibuya does hang on, but he loses via a decision. And Jason Delucia, curse or no curse, looked very good out there.
Yeah, his ground game was really on fire against Shibuya, and it looked like Delucia was really able to read his opponent and see where he was making mistakes, capitalized on it by getting 3 rope escapes.
And next, we're going to see the debut of August Smeisel against Masakasu Funaki. Now, I'm not sure who set this matchup, but do you think August has any idea what he's getting into?
The only thing I can say is that August Smeisel has created a little bit of a cult following in some of the followers of Pancrase.
All right, and let's see what the fuss is all about.
Masakasu Funaki versus August Smeisel.
Smeisel is a native of Austria, trained in judo and wrestling. This is his debut fight, and as you can see, Josh, he is a lot of man, 6'5", 298.
He's quite the beast. Maybe this is as he beckons Funaki to kick him once more.
Funaki so far dominating Pancrase, a 21-5 record.
Taking on the relative newcomer here in Smeisel. Smeisel with a pro wrestling background in Austria, making his first mixed martial arts debut fight here in Pancrase against the ace himself, Funaki.
And Funaki comes in with a right kick, left kick. Smeisel, he's got to put up some defenses here.
Well, at least the one thing he can say is that he's not really been hit flush yet, and with his size and bulk and strength, it seems as though some of these kicks aren't really able to do as much damage as Funaki would have hoped.
And Funaki, very experienced, so he is in no rush. And a nice left kick by Funaki, and Smeisel goes down. He does get back up. The ref will give him an 8 count. He says he's okay and will continue. He's deducted 1 point, but he has 4 more left.
Maybe it's maybe now that Smeisel has realized that, you know, after getting that knockdown and getting back up, he's behind in this fight. He's going to turn it up, and we're going to see some Smeisel time.
I think he's finally realizing what Pancrase is all about, and it just might be a little too late. He already stepped in the ring. And a takedown, and Smeisel actually got the takedown looking very nice there. I don't think...
Going for the headlock is Smeisel, maybe now getting his back taken by Funaki. Smeisel maybe looking for an ankle, controlling the hands. I'm sure Smeisel would love to get a reversal in this position, get on top, and maybe work to apply one of his signature Smeisel locks.
And Funaki looks like he might be trying to go for the sleeper hold down there on Smeisel.
Lifting the chin and inserting the arm is Funaki. Smeisel in deep trouble.
I think he's got that locked in, and he does. August Smeisel taps out. I'm not sure. And now he knows what he got himself into. Masakasu Funaki wins the fight. A very excited 2-1 in the first round via a sleeper choke. And not exactly the toughest opponent, but hey, you take every win as if they come.
I know, and you know, at this point, who knows? Maybe August Smeisel would have been the new king of Pancrase. You have to give everybody an opportunity to show their skills in the ring, and someone like the Smeiselator shouldn't be discounted.
And unfortunately, we will see no more of the Smeiselator, as this was his only fight. And Funaki, a nice somersault. He seems to be doing that after every fight. Josh, what do you like seeing more? The Rutan jump after a win, or the Funaki somersault?
I think it'd be pretty cool if we could see Rutan hit the Rutan jump and Funaki do the somersault
together
between his legs as he goes over, and then maybe land in a pose or something.
And August Smeisel, now he knows what he got into. August, September, October, November. I don't think there is a right time to fight Masakasu Funaki.
He's going to be incredibly tough for even a veteran of the sport. Someone like a complete newcomer like Smeisel, it's a tough task to step up to. But I guess that just says something about Smeisel himself, and who knows? Maybe Smeisel's out there competing and we just don't know about it.
Maybe, but not likely. All right, our next fight, Masakasu Funaki, as you know, is a co-founder of Pancrase. After the break, we're going to see the other co-founder, Minoru Suzuki. Welcome back to the show, and now we're going to see Guy Mezger face off against Minoru Suzuki. And Josh, a matchup of two very good all-around fighters.
Right, Mezger, not being one of the founders like Suzuki, but with a group like the Lions Den, has made a lot of improvements and shown just how talented he is in the game in fights against guys like Bas Rutten and Funaki and some of the earlier fights he's had already. At this point, fighting against Suzuki, this is going to be a really difficult match for someone like Mezger, but I think at this point, this is another chance for Mezger to show just how talented he is.
All right, enough words. Let's go straight to the fight.
Guy Mezger versus Minoru Suzuki.
Fight!
Well, this fight will be fought with their hands and legs, as well as Suzuki goes in for a takedown. Mezger doing a good job preventing that, now trying to throw the knees and putting Suzuki into the corner.
Grabbing the single leg is Mezger and kicking out Suzuki's post leg there.
And Suzuki does get up, and I do not think that will be a leg takedown, Josh, and it is a penalty. Why did Mezger get that yellow card there, Josh?
I'm actually not exactly sure. I don't know if he hit him in the throat or if he kicked him in the front of the knee. They're going to show here, I think.
As we see, it looks like well, I think we're past that, Josh. We'll figure that out later on. And it looks like Mezger showing great power, just tossing Suzuki across the ring like a rag doll.
Yeah, really controlling the fight here is Mezger. Suzuki doesn't really want to engage in the stand-up battle with Mezger, as Mezger, a kickboxing champion, but wow, big shotes by Mezger, putting Suzuki down hard, and I think Suzuki hurt his knee on that knockdown.
And Suzuki, he must be seeing stars. He does get
stars, moons, clovers, diamonds, purple horseshoes,
Mars, Venus, Jupiter. He does get deducted a point for that takedown. He does 4 points left, so many more opportunities in this fight.
Suzuki's really got to try and get underneath those strikes and get into Mezger's legs as he eats another couple of strikes, big left knees, big shotes. Mezger really pouring it on in the corner against Suzuki. He's got to be in trouble. Suzuki's going to have to change this around, or this fight's not going anywhere quick for him.
And Suzuki, it seems like he's content to stay in the corner, but if he wants any chance, he has to move away because Mezger is just keeping him there and unloading him. And Suzuki finally tries to make a move, unsuccessful, and he is back down on the mat.
I think those body shots in the corner are really taking their toll on Suzuki as his gas tank seems really low.
And Suzuki, I'm not sure he knows where he is right now. The ref does the 8 count, and this fight is over. A TKO victory by Guy Mezger, 7:59 in the first round.
Self-inflicted, actually, I believe, as I think what happened was as Suzuki jumped in to try and attack his legs, he hit the back of his head against the mat so hard he knocked himself out.
I'm sure Guy Mezger will take this victory. They did fight once before. Guy Mezger lost via the TKO, and now he comes back and defeats Suzuki. Suzuki, I'm not sure if he's in good shape. I'm sure Guy Mezger is going to check on him soon because, as we said before, Pancrase, sportsmanship is a very big deal. And looks like they're going to take out a stretcher or a cot to carry Suzuki away, and Suzuki just
not having anything of it.
He just throws that cot down on the mat. Suzuki, a lot of pride.
Yeah, Suzuki, too much pride. He doesn't want to be. He knows he's really
in trouble,
hurt,
Josh.
But he's not going to let anybody. He doesn't want to show the fans any sort of weakness. So,
and Suzuki would be okay. And a devastating loss for Suzuki. As we see, Josh, Suzuki started out on fire in Pancrase, but towards the latter part of his career, he really struggled. The mileage on his body just really showed.
Right, and something some of you guys are going to have to keep in mind is that a lot of these fighters, even at this point in their career, this is not their first career coming into Pancrase. This may be their second or third career, with guys like Funaki and Suzuki starting out in New Japan Pro Wrestling, going to the UWF, Fujiwara Gumi, and then finally eventually finding their way to Pancrase. You know, they've got a lot of mileage on their bodies, like you said, Rob, and they've taken a lot of blows and strikes, and you know, they've been knocked out a few times prior to even starting this.
All right, now we're ready for our main event. It's Bas Rutten versus Frank Shamrock. And Josh, there's a lot on the line. It's the King of Pancrase title on the line.
Yeah, this is a big match. And Frank Shamrock being the provincial King of Pancrase, as Rutten broke his hand, was unable to defend the belt for some time. They stripped the belt from Rutten and held a match between Suzuki and Shamrock to decide who would be the provincial King of Pancrase until Rutten was healthy enough to come back. Shamrock winning that match now owns the belt. And here comes Rutten back to reclaim what he feels was rightfully his.
All right, let's not wait any longer. Let's find out who will become the King of Pancrase.
Bas Rutten versus Frank Shamrock.
And as Josh mentioned, Frank Shamrock is the temporary King of Pancrase after he defeated Minoru Suzuki. Bas Rutten unable to defend his title because he broke his hand during training, and you know Bas wants to be the one with that wrapped around his stomach.
All right, and as far as Bas sees it, he was never beaten for the belt, he never lost the belt, it's all a technicality.
Okay, go. And Bas Rutten is a man on a mission. These two fighters have faced twice before. Bas won one on a split decision, Frank Shamrock winning the other. And one of Bas's heroes is Bruce Lee, and I want to ask you, Josh, who are some of your heroes? Who are your influences in mixed martial arts?
Strangely enough, some of as we watch these tapes, people like Bas Rutten, Funaki, Suzuki, I really look up to them, and some other guys like Antonio Inoki and Akira Maeda and Nobuhiko Takada over in Japan. But I won't lie and say that Bruce Lee influenced a lot of people, even including myself, as he was a fellow Seattleite in Washington. Bas did used to be a model in the Netherlands with a full head of hair to boot.
Swimsuits?
I don't know if they were. I didn't delve that back.
All right, and the ref already made his inspections. This fight will carry on.
Both of these guys in great physical shape, both very strong and explosive fighters. Bas really has the advantage on the feet, but Frank, being just such an explosive, dynamic fighter, can take a guy off his feet into a submission before you could even blink. Something that will become a trademark signature of his, as he has rattled off several wins against.
And what a
nice belly-to-belly suplex.
Suplex takedown, Josh.
And that's the power and explosiveness of Frank Shamrock at work. And like I was saying, Frank, he can lock a submission on at any moment. As he works the power half with the elbow across the throat, body shot by Shamrock as he's looking to work the arm.
And those body shots will take its course throughout this fight. And Bas, as you see those R's on his hands, wants to remind himself to relax. And Josh, but he can't stay too relaxed.
No, he's caught in a dragon sleeper by Shamrock. Bas using a lot of that strength that he's got.
And Shamrock dodged a knee there. That could have been deadly.
Yeah, and Bas using a lot of that upper body strength was able to reverse that position, not necessarily out of technique, but it got the job done.
And Frank saying, all right, if you want to hit me there, go for it. I'm not sure he wants to be taunting El Guapo right now.
Well, the one thing about Frank Shamrock is he's a gamer, man. When that guy comes to fight, he comes to fight.
Both fighters back up on their feet, exchanging legs. And now Rutten taken down again, a nice double leg takedown by Frank Shamrock.
Rutten not able to find his rhythm or range quite yet with Frank, but holding his own on the mat as well, and not getting submitted or even having to give up a lost point yet, showing Rutten's ability to grapple with the likes of Frank Shamrock.
Shamrock in the full guard, as you see, still throwing those body shots to Rutten. Now, Rutan might not look like he's feeling it, but in the later parts of this match, he could be more winded because of that.
I think Frank just sees it as an opportunity. He's down here on the mat as Rutan responds to some palm strikes to the side of Shamrock's head. Frank's just going to try and take some of that energy away from Boss and maybe look to win this fight later on in the fight in the match. But Rutan is walloping him upside the head as the ref stands him back up and decides, hey, enough of that. You guys aren't moving to finish this fight, so let's put it back on the feet.
Now, before you did see Shamrock throw punches, closed fist punches to the body. That is legal, but you cannot throw a closed fist punch to the face. And right there, an uppercut by Boss Rutan takes Shamrock to the ground, and we have our first knockdown of the fight.
Great series of techniques. Nice combo by Boss to follow up that front kick with those hands, finding their home on Frank's chin and putting him down as Frank sees that front kick coming again, catches the leg, but eating a bevy of strikes on the feet.
And he takes Boss Rutan out of the ring. I don't think I've ever seen this before, Josh.
That's a very dangerous scenario here.
Back to the studios, Josh. I can't wait to see the finish of this match. Now both fighters are out of the ring. Do you think Boss has an advantage because he got the last knockdown? So you figure Shamrock has to be a little bit dazed.
Well, the thing about that falling out of the ring like that, and Boss was scoring heavy with the strikes, even from a disadvantageous position by having his leg up in the air. But when they fell out of the ring, that means that match stopped. It's halted, and now any momentum that was built up has now been stopped. It's been broken up. This is an opportunity for Frank to try and reclaim the position in this fight and maybe get a lost point or to submit Boss. But Boss Rutan, he wasn't king for nothing.
All right, let's go to the conclusion of this bout. And both fighters are back in the ring. Both seem okay, and I think Boss wants credit for a knockdown on that move. Not going to get it from the ref, though. Now Frank Shamrock back and not shy so far as he's going after Boss in a spinning clothesline by Boss Rutan.
Following up that missed round kick with a back fist. Big strike from Boss. Cuts out the takedown with a nice sprawl. Frank and Boss back on the feet again.
And I think Frank has a cut on the left side of his face that the referee wants the doctor to have a look at.
Curious to see where that came from.
And Frank, of course, Frank wants to continue, and I think the doctor will allow him to, as that cut does not look too deep at this point.
Honestly, knowing Frank, I think if his eyeball was hanging out of his head, he'd still want to continue.
What about both eyeballs hanging out of his head?
Yeah, he's crazy enough.
Wow.
He'd do it.
At that point, I might even fight. And he will continue. Both fighters in the center of the ring.
Frank, the very skilled catch wrestler, would do wise to try and get this fight onto the ground.
And I think right there, Frank Shamrock grabbed the rope. He can't believe it, but since that is not legal, the ref will assess another point. Now he has 2 points deducted, and Shamrock just laughing, saying, "You can't call that."
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't grabbing the rope for a rope escape. He grabbed it to kick and to hold his balance, but hey, they don't want you grabbing the ropes for any reason whatsoever except to initiate the rope escape. So really rookie move on Frank's part and eating the
nice high left kick by Rutan.
Rutan sort of picking up the pace, finding his rhythm and his distance against Frank, but Frank stuffing him against the ropes, maybe able to get the takedown here, going for the front headlock. Narrowly missing that big knee.
Hey, Shamrock saying, "I'm okay, everybody." And as you saw there, the referee running to the ropes, sprinting there to make sure the fighters don't fall out again.
Another tackle avoided by Rutan as he lands slaps against Frank. Frank just having no opportunity to get a hold of Rutan and bring him to the mat. Frank calling him down there, but Rutan knows where he's being successful, and he's not going to fall into any trap like that.
And Boss Rutan has all the momentum right now, even though Frank Shamrock might be trying to taunt him. Although I don't know how much that's working. Maybe it's working against him and motivating Boss. And a nice two-leg takedown. Frank Shamrock showing signs of life.
Great setup for that double leg by Frank. Following in off the right palm strike into that double. Boss fell right into it. And now Frank's got him finally on the mat. Let's see what he can do with this opportunity.
And Boss Ruin content to maybe even wait him out as you see Frank covering his face. And what is he doing right there? What do you call that punch? Is it even a punch?
The aggravator.
And I'm not sure Boss Ruin even saw that. It looked like Shamrock was covering half his face and using the other hand to strike Ruin on the ground.
He's got to be careful not to have Boss open that cut up even more and then lose the fight. Boss is actually aiming for that cut, it seems like to me, to try and cause it to bleed more.
And both fighters with toe holds right now on the mat.
Yeah, nice toe hold attempt by Frank. Boss following it up. I mean, this has got to be killing you. Just both guys cranking each other's ankles. Boss escaping, Frank staying in there on that leg, sensing an opportunity, going to the other leg, working the Achilles lock. Boss defending, trying to keep that left leg of Frank's from coming over the top.
And Boss is delivering blows to the side of Shamrock's face, and Shamrock just tell him to keep it up. I think Boss will comply.
Frank is nuts.
And Shamrock bleeding from the side of the head. I don't think that was a smart idea, sticking out his tongue to taunt Boss Rutin. And it looks like Rutin might have used a fist on that punch, and the referee is going to give him a red card. He will argue, but to no avail. And Rutin does get assessed a red card, and that hurts, Josh. That's -2 points. Correct that, -1 point. So Rutin's still in the lead. Shamrock not in good shape though, Josh.
No, and because of that, now they got broke up, put back on the feet, and Frank had him on the ground in a leg catch position. This is not helpful for Frank right now.
Both fighters shake hands. I think the referee wants them to, abide by the rules.
Well, I think that if anything, respect is not something either of these guys have a lack of for each other. Back on the feet, Boss fires a hard left kick. Shamrock catching it, driving him into the ropes, looking to trip and take Boss to the mat.
And the referee there to make sure the fighters don't fall out of the ropes again.
Boss looking for that front choke. Changed over to a cravat. Frank going for the single leg, getting caught in that front choke again.
That is a lot of pressure being put on his neck, but he does manage to snap out of it, and the referee scores that a knockdown.
Yeah, Frank laying on the canvas like that and not getting up, that's going to be called a knockdown.
And he does get up from the 8 count, but the referee, he will let him continue. He's lost 3 points, and the time limit is up. Actually, the doctor's going to have a look at Shamrock's face. He might be cut too deep to continue.
Well, it doesn't look that bad to me, but I'm not the doctor in charge, so it could be anybody's guess.
As we await the decision, Frank Shamrock putting up a good fight, but like I said, and as you see, Shamrock's blood is over Boss Rutin's body. Do you know what it feels like to have someone else's blood on your body, Josh?
I actually do. I'm pretty familiar. I was drenched in Sonny Shook's blood at one time.
How bad did that feel?
Well, luckily he was already tested for any communicable diseases, so I wasn't absolutely worried about it.
And they're still working on Shamrock's, the left side of his face. And I think the referee is calling this fight over, maybe. And as we go back to the fight, I'm not sure if Shamrock will continue. He will not continue. The referee stops this 11 minutes and 11 seconds into the first round. As you see there, the Rutin jump is still in the
脳へのダメージが認められるため11分11秒ドクターストップによる TKO でマスル・ルッテン選手の勝利となります。ただいまの試合の結果によりマスル・ルッテン選手のタイトル防衛となりました。
Boss, this certainly proves that, hey, he was king the whole time, he was champion in that. It was just a technicality that kept him from holding that belt. And a win over Frank Shamrock, no slouch there. That's got to count for a lot.
And Frank Shamrock was the temporary king until Boss took it back from him. And All right, as we see Boss Rudin with his championship belt and the trophy. Now, Josh, I know you are not allowed to keep the championship belt, but what about that huge trophy Boss had?
No, we're not allowed to keep the trophy either. But interestingly enough, that thing weighs a ton. When I won the belt, I remember seeing a picture earlier of Semi Schilt holding the cup in one hand, thinking, well, I might want to try and do something like that. It looks like a cool picture. That thing, I don't know what it's made. I know it's made out of silver and steel and whatever else, but you got to be a serious guy to lift that thing up with one hand.
And speaking of Semi Schilt, we're going to see him right now in our move of the night. And Semi Schilt, this was his debut fight in Pancrase, taking Manabu Yamada, and Josh, he dealt Yamada a whole lot of damage.
Just a devastating barrage of knees, kicks, and palm strikes here delivered to Yamada. As we saw in the after-fight footage, dealing a tremendous amount of damage and showing some of the reasons why he is the two-time K1 Grand Prix champion currently.
And that does it for this week's episode of Pancrase, Legends of Mixed Martial Arts. I'm Rob Wu.
Josh Barnett.
Same time, same place, next week.